them a happy Father's Day.
Absolutely. We cannot forget where we came from, folks. And that's what this competition is really all about. We can't forget where NA is going to come from in the next couple of years. I mean, we were talking about it yesterday. We were talking about where we're going to see the NA style of this competition in the next few years. It has already grown from basically no teams in NA to 3 years later, we have enough teams to participate in our own conference. That is very rapid growth, and that's something that's really cool because I feel like it's only going to get exponential as more and more universities see this, and more universities actually already have esport teams that are playing games that are similar to this. Then their engineers are going to look at this and be like, hey man, I want a part of that action. I want a part of being able to build my own robot to be able to compete in these competitions, because it is so cool having the design freedom. All you have is basically just a power draw requirement. You have speed requirements on how fast the projectiles can come out of the barrel, and most of the rest of it's up to you. You just have to plug everything into that power management module, make sure that all the ref systems are able to check all that voltages and stuff like that. You can even add super capacitors to be able to boost your chassis on the ground and be able to drive and have basically a nitrous boost. That is something that's completely just way so far out in my head, but so some of these teams made it possible.
No, yeah, it's really something special here, and it's really important to note that all these robots, they've taken so much time to build here, and I really want to reiterate, actually just iterate for the first time, that how much not only time and effort that goes into them, but how much resources go into them. Some of these robots are made out of aluminum, PLA plastic parts that are 3D printed specially so that they can have specific parts. These robots range in the thousands of dollars, and they range anywhere from 30 to 70 pounds. It's really crazy. When we get to this first match, you'll be able to see these giant pieces of super glorified RC cars running around this field here and shooting each other. It will be absolutely phenomenal to watch, Matt. I am super excited to get to commentate this.
Absolutely. Also, one more thing about the rules that was a little bit not necessarily super clear yesterday, but whenever the robots are in the pad zone in the middle with that giant plus on it, that is actually how they're able to restore health, but not there. They have to go there, stay in that zone, and be able to restore health, basically get like a health pack after a few seconds, then drive back to that repair zone, which is where they also are able to reload in both corners of the map. It is actually underneath where both of the cameras are mounted. So if you see a robot driving near to underneath the camera, you'll probably eventually see a close-up of that robot getting reloaded. And that's actually something to see as well, because there's just so many factors of so many tiny details that have to go right and that have to be communicated and that have to be executed perfectly by these teams in every single match that they're in, not just some of them, but all of them. Because reloading is very important. I mean, you don't think about it, but as soon as you get into the heat of the moment and you start laying down fire all over that field, your projectiles run out pretty quick. You only have a fixed amount in that hopper. You're able to load as many as you want at first, but you don't want to spill. You don't want to have an overburden if you have a top load, if that's your design choice, or if any kind of design choice that possibly could have been messed up. And we might be cutting it to a video here if that is the case.
I believe we are just looking into the match here. We do have a brief technical pause that's coming out once again. They're still working on that video transmission issue, but hopefully we'll actually be able to, it'll be starting anytime pretty soon right now as we get kind of the loading screen. Hopefully, we'll see. But that
the loading
issue
system starting, the rev system starting up. That red sentry's also moving.
Here we go.
Look at that red sentry moving.
It's moving now. Both sentries are moving and are ready to start. It is really cool here. I'm super excited.
Let's go. First match of the day.
We are counted off here, and we will begin shortly. All right, we have both teams running out of the base now, both the heroes and the standards here coming out to the center of the field. We have UW on the blue team, and we have NYU and Polytech on the red team. So here we have both teams trying to take a very defensive approach here as they're trying to slowly gain ground over the middle part here. The hero and the standard have a brief confrontation here. They're using these barriers so perfectly here, but it looks like UW is able to take over the health pack area.
The health pack area is very crucial to maintain during this early game, as you can just stack up health packs for whenever you do end up getting injured in a fight.
That's right. Yeah, it looks like these robots on the side of Polytech are taking a little bit of damage. The UW team is trying to push in so deeply onto the enemy side. They actually get a kill onto the standard, I believe. Oh, look at those googly eyes. Oh, it's a double kill. It's a double kill. Oh, my goodness. UW has secured an ace, and the bullets fell out of the standard, too. That looks like UW is going to go eventually to that sentry and start laying siege. But it looks like they're going to go to a strategic back here to get some ammo filled up and some health. A very excellent play here by the side of University of Washington. Matt, what does Polytech got to do to get back into this?
Polytech has got to start getting their health back, which it looks like that Standard 3 is trying to get his health back as the hero's trying to stay out there and defend him. As we see that gimbal kind of moving around a little bit wildly, got to remember that those gimbals are how the operators of these robots are seeing. So when it's moving around like that, it is very hard to see. It looks like he might be taking some damage from that red or that blue hero as well.
Oh, here we go. Right now we have the Standard 3 on the side of UW taking shots at the sentry right now.
Can it make it a double?
Oh, yeah, it looks like the hero is trying to support the Standard on their team as Polytech is making the excellent decision to try to go after the other team's sentry, but they actually get knocked out here right now. I can't exactly see the health, but it looks like the sentry on the side of the red team is around half HP right now, so excellent job from the Standard on the side of UW, taking a lot of damage and putting it into that sentry turret right now. As we see both teams trying to configure and move around the map, see what's going on here. It looks like the hero is trying to deal some damage to that red hero that is looking to damage the blue team's sentry. Wow, it's already there. You can hear all of the noise that's coming out here from all the damage shots that are coming out. The red Standard has just a little bit of help, but that sentry actually takes him offline. That is our first sentry kill of the game, Matt. Absolutely phenomenal stuff. UW has an insanely good sentry turret. Oh my goodness gracious.
Absolutely. That is what you love to see in this competition as blue team is pushing on that red base. Got both their robots currently knocked offline on the red team, and that sentry has actually taken a substantial amount of damage on the red team despite the fact that it is able to move, able to dodge. That blue sentry has still got full HP, I believe, and does not look like it has taken any damage, but it looks like that red hero's about to try to change that, but he gets knocked offline once more.
Yeah, that Standard right there, it turns online, it starts shooting UW sentry and immediately gets knocked offline. It isn't just a state of turning on and offline and recovering, but it looks like UW is taking advantage of this situation as their Standard and hero. As their Standard and hero are coming in to take shots on that sentry. Look at that aiming and that precision and that HUD. Absolutely amazing stuff here.
As you can see in the middle of the screen right there as well, you can see that barrel heating up. That means that if it goes all the way around in that circle, that's whenever the camera will fuzz up and it will start taking damage.
Indeed, yeah. So both robots on the side of UW are looking to kill that sentry turret right there. You know, it's really tough because it is translating across that rail back and forth here. So it's really difficult to aim. Actually, yeah, both of them are going back to the base, it looks like, to refill on ammo. Looks like they just ran out. So the engineers will help them out on that. But it looks like, is that Standard 3? Yes, Standard 3 and Hero 1 looking to flank around the left and right side of Polytech and NYU's base with 45 seconds left on the map. And both robots on the side of NYU and Polytech seem to be down right now. Hero 3 is just revived and is looking to try to stall this out here to deal a little bit of damage to these robots and take some defensive position back. But as you can see here, both of these robots are just looking in, and they are firing and they're setting up on this base here. We see a yellow card put into the red Standard 3 here as it has hit the wall.
That is for ramming that blue robot, I believe, actually.
Oh, I see.
Once again, we see that first-person point of view. That is all the camera operators are able to see of these robots as they are driving around. Seeing how hectic that is, it is very hard to see sometimes out of that.
Yeah, you can understand the ramming. Even though it is illegal to ram other robots, it is very difficult to see out of those.
And that's going to be a blue victory.
UW takes the victory for this first match in the best of 2. Give a round of applause for both of these teams, everyone.
Absolutely phenomenal show of power. We saw a sentry kill.
Finally, yes.
We saw a sentry kill.
Oh my goodness, yes, that was absolutely amazing. UW really showing how awesome their robots are. And NYU and Polytech, I actually believe they were fielding 2 standards instead of a hero because they are a joint team. I believe what happened is one of the teams or one of the universities built the Standard and the Century, and then the other team just built the Standard. So normally they would not be able to compete on their own, but they joined together as universities in order to be able to compete in the competition. So we really love to see that joint university coming in strong here and showing us what they got. Those were some beautiful standards here, and they really played a strong role. I mean, you know, it is a little bit unfortunate that they weren't able to field a hero and had to do a double standard. Sorry, forgive me about that. But, you know, these robots were good. They were able to shoot, they were able to move around, and that's honestly...
That sentry moving.
That's good.
That sentry moving at all prevented them, the blue team, from being able to knock that entire sentry offline and going straight for the throat on that base. That sentry moving just a little bit enough. I mean, as you were seeing, it was very hard to aim and hit that sentry as it's moving along that rail from that first-person point of view. You don't really know, like you kind of know your bullet drop a little bit, but it can be variable based on a whole bunch of different conditions. And trying to figure that out on the fly as that thing's moving as well, and not having that computer vision tracking that just kind of like will auto-lock, as we see on some of the north and central region in China whenever you see these teams that have come back for the entirety of like all 5 years that this competition has been available. Well, I guess it's 7 now, but
yeah, no,
many years of that competition. But holy cow, what an impressive first match of the day to kick the day off to a phenomenal start.
I really got to admire the accuracy that some of these robots had. You know, actually, I'm pretty sure that all these robots have been able to quote-unquote test fire their turrets, but they have not actually been able to go into the arena and practice in the arena until just yesterday, or maybe even a little bit to the day before. So these teams, these universities have had to adapt on the fly with only a day or two of actual real pilot practice. So to be able to come out here and show accuracy, to show tenacity, to show this amount of determination from both sides is really something to marvel at. You know, we see these, we have seen a lot of really cool robots coming out from the Chinese regionals. I believe they had North and Central regions compete a little bit around a month ago, and they competed super strongly. If you guys want to check that out, we have also did VODs of streams of that.
You can actually watch each individual match on the YouTube channel, RoboMaster NA.
Nice. Okay, I didn't know we had it separate individual videos, so that's really cool. But my point being with that is that all these NA teams, you know, they're coming here. They've got some practice in. They have just finished their robots here. Most of these teams are pretty new. Some of them are pretty experienced and have been here for a while. But, you know, this is like their day 2, basically, of being able to actually practice and shoot in this arena. So I think they are adapting really well to the situation thus far.
Getting used to this situation, getting the experience of this competition, getting in the heat of the moment, all these things are very important to practice as either a new team or just a returning team, being able to give that experience to your newer members as they are growing within the team. And
yeah, that's right, Matt.
We got a couple seconds before this next match starts. What do you think NYU Poly needs to do to be able to overcome that devastating sentry force?
Oh, that is a good question. So, honestly, I think that the 2 standards are actually a pretty formidable force, right? The hero does a lot of damage with the 42mm balls, but if you're able to utilize that mobility that a double standard team has, you can outflank and outmaneuver the other robots, and you might be able to secure a quick kill before immediately going to that sentry turret to start doing some damage. As you saw before with UW, even though they had 2 robots trying to shoot that sentry, they were only able to do a bit of damage. I think 3/4 of the damage, even though they had approximately a minute total of fire time and aim time to be able to damage that sentry turret.
And quite free reign. They weren't under a whole lot of pressure because they had one robot keeping those offline, not really having to worry about the threat of the other robots hitting it, and not having a threat of the sentry turret being able to hit it, because the turret does not exist on that red team. But the mobility on that sentry at least saved it by a lot of health points, I would imagine, because not only counting for the missed shots, but just the fact that it was still alive by the end of the match. That's something to be proud about.
It is, yeah. And as we explained before, this is a best of 2 match. It is kind of like a round robin double elimination style bracket where we do best of 2s, and both teams try to accumulate as much points as they can going into the finals, which will determine who are in the semifinals and the final competition, where it'll be a knockout.
Which will be streamed today.
It will be
covering
today.
that
Yes.
today.
And so right now, UW and NYU and Polytech will finish their second match. I believe they will be able to participate another time. I'm not exactly sure. I'll have to check the schedule. But yeah.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it today. It is the perfect first match to start us off. First century kill of the North American competition. Goes to UW. Congrats. You have my approval. That is what I love to see. And that is something that's going to be very scary in the competition, as other teams, I'm sure, are watching and looking at this and saying, okay, now how are we going to be able to deal with this threat? That is a threat. A lot of these teams stayed up all night, probably, trying to get any issues resolved they had or found out about yesterday, because, as we all know, 1, this is an engineering competition. 2, Murphy's Law, everything that can go wrong will go wrong at the worst possible time, and the ref system will work perfectly until you go on the field, and then it doesn't.
Oh, here we go. It looks like we are gearing up again. We are getting word of the loading screen coming in here, as all the robots are on the field, and none of the engineers here for any of the teams are on the field. We have the switch over to this camera as we get the countdown, Matt. Let's go! The second match.
Let's go.
Both robots are out of the gate for each of the teams here. They're taking a defensive position, looking to secure behind that barricade for each side of them. Looks like UW got a little bit of a late start here, as NYU Polytech is kind of coming out the gate as well here. UW has shown their prowess, and I think it is putting NYU a little bit off guard here, as they're trying to use that first barricade a little bit more strategically.
Looks like he's actually trying to bait him to come back behind there.
Yeah, it looks like standard 3 on the side of the red team pokes his head out along with number 1 here. They're clumping up together, trying to make it a 2-on-1 situation. I believe that is a really smart decision here, as they are coming up along the right side, and they're just looking to go after that sentry turret. They're here, they're trying to go, as we get it looks like that is a double kill of some sorts. One robot on each side has fallen here. I'm not actually
sure. It looks like
sure
both
what
bars are actually still online. I do not believe exactly. Oh, that was the kill on the sentry. The blue sentry is offline.
Oh my goodness. There must have been some sort of malfunction or something like that that knocked off that sentry. So that means that the side of NYU and Polytech have an extremely good chance to be able to come back from this and be able to showcase some damage onto the blue base here. We'll see what happens here as the hero lines up some shots on the red standard here, and the red standards are looking to kind of turn back a little bit here as number 1 goes back to the center of the map. Matt, what does Washington have to do to get back into this?
They've got to push. They've got to push really hard. They've got to get those They got to get a double kill and be able to start shooting at that sentry. Even if they had full reign on that sentry last time, they were not able to take it completely out, which their sentry is now completely out. So that means in order to even out this game, they are going to have to at least knock down that moving red sentry, which is a feat in and of itself. But they've also got to get through the robots that are posturing very defensively to make sure that they're defending that sentry. They know their win con, and they are sure as how they're going to win this game.
Yeah, it looks like we have a little bit of stalemate, but all the robots are just looking at each other. No shots are really fired here, as both teams kind of take advantage of the situation to kind of move around and figure out what's going on here. Yeah, we don't see any shots fired. This is a little bit interesting, confusing. Maybe just the robots are trying to test around their rotational limits here. They're both taking a pretty defensive stance here, making sure that they can cover their sentry and their base at any point at the time here. Matt, what do you think is going on right now?
I think UW might be a little bit afraid to push that base. as we've seen, one death can be very devastating. As soon as you get knocked offline, you just get revived on the spot that you were at with very little health and no really vulnerability. So you got to be really careful about dying in a bad spot, because if you die in a bad spot, you might just be screwed.
There might be some outside agreement going on here, because all the robots have entered into the center of the map. We're not exactly sure what is happening right now. They're just having a little friendly dance-off right now as they kind of spin around here and look at each other all menacingly like.
As you see that spin to win, that gimbal is staying completely stationary on the UW blue standard 3 as that was spinning in place. That makes it very hard to hit if they're able to shoot as well.
Yeah,
showcasing that ability.
I'm not exactly sure what's happening. Both robots are just giving the nods to each other as a sign of communication to each other. Really cute stuff going on right here. They're doing a little dance. They're hanging out here. I don't know exactly what's happening, but it seems like they're having a fun time, Matt.
Absolutely. Got a minute 30 left in this match with a pretty decisive red
look at that
lead
dance,
right now.
Though. That spin to win thing. It's, I mean, it's pretty good for defense, but it's also pretty cool for showing off too.
Oh, absolutely.
That blue hero from UW is just spinning around.
Got
that
the
red
googly
standard
eyes.
is spinning around, man. He's just having a good time. Oh my goodness. They're just kind of spinning. They're hanging out. Red standard 3, popping some moves over here.
Kind of like the passive agreement from two teams to just go down the mid lane in league and just start dancing.
What was that? Control 3, Control 4?
Control 3, yeah. Just
Oh,
Control 3 in the middle. Got about 50 seconds left in this match.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure why they've called this little ceasefire between the teams, but you know, they have, and they're just you know, they're testing around their robots right now for this last like minute that they have here. You know, no shots are coming out right now, so it's I don't exactly know what's going on. It looks like the yellow lights are on some of the robots, which might indicate that there's something up with the referee system where they have told them to stop. But, you know, the match is still continuing with 30 seconds left on the clock. UW has not poured any damage into the NYU's sentry turret, and their sentry turret has fallen offline and lost all of its HP. So it looks like NYU is going to secure this victory without any contestation right now.
10 seconds left. They're not going to be able to do nearly enough damage to that sentry to be able to knock it offline, and that looks like it is going to be a red team victory.
And it is. NYU Polytech take the second round of this game, of this best of 2. You know, Matt, it is a little bit unfortunate that the blue sentry was taken offline. There must have been some technical referee glitch or whatever, something that happened with its referee system. But that's why we have said, you know, this not only is a strategic competition of the robots moving around and shooting each other, but it's also an engineering design competition. You have to make sure that all these robots pass inspection, that they work really well, and they're able to be reliable too. You know, if your sentry's working the first round and suddenly shuts off the second, that's something that you guys have to figure out and fix up. You know, but hopefully UW will have the chance to come back in a future match, because I believe it is a double elimination, and they will be able to show us how awesome their sentry turret really is. So we want to remind you all to check for our schedule online on the RoboMasters NA website. If someone could please kindly link that into the chat, that would be most helpful for all the viewers. We really appreciate all of your dedicated support here, tuning into the Twitch stream, as we will move into our next match shortly, as these teams take off their robots, and the waiting room will come out as we reveal Texas A&M University's team Aimbots versus Virginia Tech's RoboGrinder.